into credit card catalog. That's right, US Bank has added some cards, they've changed some things around, so I think it's important to keep this information fresh and current. So we'll first familiarize ourselves with US Bank. We'll talk about how their system works, everything you need to know before applying. Of course, we'll talk about their cards, both the new ones and then the personal and business as well, coming out on the other side of this, letting you. Now, first things first, let's start out with our classic Did You Know slide, focused on learning a little bit more about US Bank. So here we have it. They started in 1891 as United States National Bank of Portland. They became US Bancorp in 1969. They're headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Currently sitting at the fifth largest bank in the U.S. with about $530.5 billion in assets. So, just out of the top four players being Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citi. They operate under the second oldest banking charter that was issued, fun fact. So technically they were issued the 24th charter granted in 1863 following the National Bank Act. However, a lot of those charters end up expiring or lapsing as banks get bought up and merged. And so wouldn't you know it, US Bank now has the second oldest charter. So there's a fun fact for trivia night for you. Now, when it comes to rules about US Bank cards, interestingly enough, there's no rules, but then there's some secret rules that they don't tell you about. So let's take a look at this. So US Bank rules. What we found is they're particular about how much credit they extend an individual. Data points also suggest that US Bank is inquiry sensitive. However, you can receive a welcome bonus multiple times, so there's no hard limits or waiting periods for churning them. There's also no cap to how many US Bank cards you can get. So the real rule here that I want to stick to is, they are inquiry sensitive. Now, how many inquiries? Unfortunately, I don't really know because it's all crowdsourced data. They don't really publish any of this. So basically, if you have some data points, drop them down below. They have a proprietary travel portal, or it's probably run by somebody, but there's no transferring out to Delta or American Airlines or anything like that. So with that said, now that we know the basics, let's start taking a look at the cards. Of course, we'll start with the personal cards first. So here we have it. First up is the cliched platinum card. Everyone has to have one. No annual fee, no multipliers to be had because this is the classic low APR balance transfer card. Not much to see here. Now we move on to a weird one, the Flex Perks Gold cards. It's an American Express Payment Network card, but there's an annual fee of $85. Multipliers are going to be 5x on prepaid hotels and car rentals booked via their travel portal, 3x on restaurants, and 2x on airlines, EV charging, which is like if you've got a Tesla or something and charge it in gas stations. You do get some benefits, TSA pre-check / global entry, and complimentary Boingo Wi-Fi if you still need that. Now moving on to what I would call the core cards, you have the Cash Plus card. And the Cash Plus is a fan favorite. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but there's no annual fee. You're going to get multipliers of 5x on your first $2,000 in spend a quarter on two categories you choose. And the reason we like this is because, again, you can see the categories are very broad, though sometimes they niche them down a little bit too much, in my opinion. Then you can also get 2x on one category you choose down below. Now, it is really important to note here that they have a secured version of this as well. It's the exact same thing, so we're not going to go over it twice, but that was one of the new cards they've added. So really good secured option there. Now, I move on to the Altitude Go cards, a card that folks have called a gold card, an Amex gold card killer before. So no annual fee, multipliers, 4x on dining, food delivery, and takeout, 2x at grocery stores, grocery deliveries, streaming, and gas stations. And you do get a benefit here. It's $15 streaming credit annually. But the catch is you must pay 11 consecutive months for streaming services with this card. In that 12th month, that's when that credit would trigger. Now, here's another new card they added, the Altitude Connect card. So this one you step up to a $95 annual fee, but for the most part, it seems to be consistently waived in year number one. Now, you do get a lot of multipliers here. So 5x on prepaid hotels and car rentals booked via travel portal, 4x on travel, EV charging, and gas stations, 2x on dining, takeout, groceries, and streaming, and of course 1x on everything else. There are a few benefits as well. So $30 free month streaming for annual streaming services. Again, you must pay streaming services on the card for 11 months. Just looks like the same as the Altitude Go works. Cell phone protection, $600 of coverage with a $25 deductible and TSA pre-check or global entry credit. Now we have a sleeper card that doesn't get talked about much but is still pretty powerful, and that is a US Bank Altitude Reserve card. So you do step up to a $400 annual fee here, but your multipliers can be 5x on prepaid hotels and car rentals booked via their travel portal, 3x on travel purchases and mobile wallet transactions. Benefits, you get quite a bit here. $325 travel credit yearly. Priority Pass, but the site says it's for 1 year only for like first 12 months after you activate it. TSA free global entry. Silver card privileges and discounts. Your points are also worth 1.5x when redeeming through the travel portal, and you do get primary CDW. Now, the only catch here is you do need to be a U.S. Bank customer to apply for this card. So, if you had a credit card with them, another credit card first, that would count, or a checking savings account, something like that. And with that, we move on to the business cards. There are 3 of them, and once again, we're back to the cliched platinum card. So again, just like its personal predecessor, low balance transfer APR card that you have here. Now we have another new card that they added last year, which is the triple cash card. I have this card myself. No annual fee, and with the multipliers, you'll quickly see why they call it the triple cash, because you're going to get 3x on gas, 3x on office supply stores, 3x on cell phone services, and 3x on restaurants. Benefits, you do get a $100 software credit annually. And then the last card we have here is the leverage card. So an annual fee of $95. It is waived in year number 1. Your multipliers can be 5x on prepaid hotels and car rentals booked via the travel portal. 2x on top 2 categories you spend in each month. There are 48 total categories. I can't fit them all on the slide. There's the link. I will link to it down below if you want more on the leverage card. But overall, not too bad for category selection. So there you go. That is the full U.S. Bank credit card catalog refreshed for 2022. Now, they also have some bank bonuses that I personally hunt myself and are pretty good. Now, unfortunately, they have changed the churning rules for their bank account bonuses, but the business account was giving you like $750 a year for a few things, and then the personal ones got up to $400 or $500 for some really easy criteria as well. So, considering, if you want the Altitude Reserve and you have to be a U.S. Bank customer, that could be an easy way to stack a bonus, get that bank account, then go ahead and get the card. But overall, when it comes to U.S. Bank, I think they've been pretty good, and I think they've actually been fairly aggressive. The 2 new ads last year that stood out were the Cash Plus Secured and the Altitude Go Secured. Because a lot of secured cards don't give you any multipliers, anything like that, and those are very easily the best secured cards I've ever seen on the market. You can remind me of some if I'm missing them below, but to give you the exact same multipliers like that as the regular versions is pretty clutch. I also think the Altitude Connect card, while it's a new addition, year 1, I think it's really good. Year 2 and beyond, I think it gets a little bit tough. But I also like that U.S. Bank is adding like EV charging to their cards. That's a category that we don't see covered a lot. It's not super popular yet, but we've got the F-150 Lightning coming out, the Hummer EV coming out. They're going to be coming, so to see cards adopt that in, with the gas station multiplier right next to it, I like that a lot. Again, I have the triple cash card myself. So overall, U.S. Bank is one of my favorite issuers. Again, you should be careful on their sensitivity to inquiries. Maybe I would put a pause, a little bit of gardening season before I actually apply for some U.S. Bank cards, especially on the personal side. Now, the thing that we all want, they would take U.S. Bank to the next level, is if all these cards had a unified currency and they earned altitude points, much like Chase earns ultimate reward points. Because again, you can see the power with the reserve card getting 1.5x going through their travel portal. Well, that's basically the same thing as the Sapphire Reserve, except the Sapphire Reserve from Chase is powered by the trifecta and all those other Freedom cards earning ultimate reward points. That's the only thing, in my opinion, keeping U.S. Bank from kind of being in the mix when the Chase and American Express mix it. They just combine points currencies. All of them earn altitude points. They're all transferable. I truly think they would be there. I think the Altitude Go is a great card. Again, Triple Cash is a good card as well. So, they have some really powerful cashback cards. Even the Cash Plus, again, I said we talked about that briefly. It's a fan favorite because, while I do believe they niche down the categories too much, it does have a few categories that you don't see every day. People love it for, like, the utilities category. Because, again, there's not really an easy way to use a credit card to get 5x back on your utilities. Again, the rest of them you can tend to find elsewhere, but even just for that one to have a 5x card in your lineup that basically you just plug into, whatever your utilities account is and set it and forget it, is pretty helpful. So overall, I think it's fair to say I am fairly high on U.S. Bank. This has been one of the more popular videos. That's why I thought it was important